First of all, I just want to congratulate the Lady Lions on an excellent season here in 2025. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach and questions for the players. We'll dismiss the players, and then we will take questions for Coach. If you have a microphone, if you have a question, we'll get a microphone too. Coach, go ahead.
Well, you never want your season to end, and when you put special on the field or in the dugout or within a staff, you just kind of want to live in that world forever. But as my dad taught me, everything comes to an end, and so it's been a magical ride. I think we've upped the ante from a year ago. We played the championship once again, which is great, and took down a top 10 team twice at their home field. And then hit the 50-win mark, which still amazes me to be able to do that. And a lot of people don't know, we lost 12 seniors off of last year's team. There's 15 new players in the dugout. And other than Chloe McGee and Maria Detillier, it's the only two same people same players at the same position from a year ago. So everyone else is either new or they're at a different position. And so my wife and I, as we've done this thing a long time together, we're just truly blessed. And LSU has been a great host, so I tip my cap to them. And kudos to UConn getting here as well. They had a great year, and I want to wish the best to Nebraska. They played with class, and they did a very good job. It was tough to keep their ball in the park because there's barrels loaded in that lineup. And then Jordy is something fierce in the circle. So we faced her a few years ago. She was tough then, and she's even tougher now in a different uniform. So we wish them the best as they go on to Supers.
Questions for the players, please raise your hand if you have a question, and we will get a microphone to you.
This could be for either of you guys. How do you guys encapsulate this season with Southeastern?
I'll go first, yes. This season has been like a movie. I mean, every year you're trying to make it here, and as a mid-major D1, it's a little bit harder just because of the road that you have to really get here, and I think that we didn't let that be an excuse, and we showed up every day and played great ball, and I think that's just a result of great coaching, great teammates, great chemistry, and I wish we could have gone further, but I am where we're at, so it was a fun year.
Yeah, we're just one big family, and as much as we're together, we really don't fight that much, which is different for me, but it's a family aspect, and as far as we come together, it's just unbelievable, and I'm proud of every single one of us.
Now, a question for both of you guys. How tough is it to play 4 games in a span of less than 48 hours, and how much would you say the team played a part of today's game?
I think growing up, softball, you're always playing more than you're playing 3 or 4 games a day, so that definitely helped. It's not like baseball, you play 2 and you're done. And we have long practices that prepare us for this, and we work and enjoy that without AC, so we're prepared for the heat. We're from Louisiana. And so it wasn't that big of a shock for us. Of course, we were a little tired, but everybody's tired at this point in the season. That's not an excuse, and I think that's not really a factor for today. I just think, they played great ball today, and tip my cap to them, and I wish them the best.
Yeah, I mean, as hard as we are on and off the field, there is a little fatigue, but we try our best to, do our recovery as best as we can with the short breaks that we do have. But either way, we played our hardest, whether that was our hardest out of our 80% that we had or the 100% that we had. All of us are giving all we got.
Right here.
A lot of new faces on this year's team, as Coach Fremin mentioned, including yourself. Chloe's one of the few starters from last year on this year's team, so a lot of different new faces. How were you guys able to gel so well this season and put this type of result on the field?
I think a big part of that is the players that were here set a great foundation of the system, and the system doesn't change just because there's new players. Our coaching staff works with us to tell us that the system is bigger than all of us and that the team is bigger than all of us, and we just buy into that and we do our role and whatever's asked of us in the moment. So it was difficult at first just getting those new players started to in the system, but once they bought in, they just clicked.
Any other questions for the players, guys? All right, players, thank y'all so much. Y'all are dismissed. And once again, congratulations on an excellent season this year. We'll now take questions for Coach. Please raise your hand if you have a question.
So, coach, after 2 years of these comebacks, winning the 2 games against ranked teams, beating top 10 teams on their home field, as you said, do you think going forward, maybe the team, the conference gets a little more respect, maybe a little higher seed in future years?
I don't know. I mean, my goal is to get 2 teams in the Southland, to be a 2-bid league. And I've worked very hard the last few years with the other coaches in our conference meeting that we meet, once or twice a year, to just try and do that. And I know you got to crunch numbers and people got to schedule certain games with RPI and KPI, and then you got to win those games. And you don't want to put your team on the road the entire time, but at the same time, there's some sort of formula. I haven't dove into it. I'm just like, my style is just play anybody at any time. That's just how I'm wired. And you play the game hard and you respect the opponent. Whoever wins or loses, you tip your cap to them and you move on. And if you lost, you go work on what beat you, So hopefully, when you look back the last 5 or 6 years, what happened with the Southland winner going into regional play, hopefully that speaks on a national stage, and hopefully that does give us a little bit of clout to represent Southland strong, because I do feel a couple of the top teams have done very well the last few years in NCAA play, particularly at the regionals.
Coach, with the way that Jordy Ball was into softball this weekend, I know it's situational, but did you consider just walking her regardless, or did you want your pitchers to attack her?
I think it doesn't matter if it's up, down, in, out, hard, or soft. It's going to be tattooed. So good luck figuring that out. That's somebody else's problem now. But Jordy did a phenomenal job all weekend. And, every now and then we pitched around her, but, she's what you call a tough out. And it's what I would also call a softball player. Jordy is a softball player. And she plays the game the right way. She plays it hard. And so her parents and coaches did a phenomenal job with her. And I believe she's one of the best players in the country. Last year, we were able to play against another one, Cagle at Clemson. Phenomenal player, great job offensively, defensively. I think we had a better plan that was executed during that time. And this plan, not so much. But there's a lot of good. We take away a lot of good from this regional experience. And it's hard to keep raising the bar, right? To keep doing it. When you look back, team 140, then the team 147, then the team 147 again, went to a regional, had 4 or 5 Power 4 wins during that time. And now the team's hit the 50 mark and took down another 10 team at home, a 1 seed in a regional. So, it's kind of like the fans and everyone in public, they're always looking to the next game. But in reality, I'm just trying to get through a pitch. I'm not worried about wins. I'm not worried about stats. And in the past, this team has always been kind of known for stolen bases. When you dig into the numbers, this team leads the nation in triples. This team's a top 10 pitching staff ERA. I think we've touched home almost more than anybody in the country and on-base percent. Like all of these numbers are video game numbers, but also these other teams are elite as well. Our goal is to be the best mid-major team in the country. So we'll keep raising the bar until we do that, or our season ends in Oklahoma City.
Last one here up front.
Coach, your 10th season at Southeastern now in the books. As you said, it's been a steady incline, and arguably the 2 best seasons in program history the last 2 years, as we've established. What is so special about Southeastern?
Well, we have a great president. We have a great athletic director. That is a large part of the reason I'm still there. And then the third piece is it's phenomenal culture. We work very hard on that. My wife and I, we focus on the person first and the player second. And recruiting is very key with any sport. You obviously need great players, but I just like developing talent. And I like it. I like also being around young ladies who want to work on self-improvement, because this game's going to come and go. And then life's going to hit them in the face. And I just want them to have the tools that they need to be prepared for when hard comes. Hard has knocked on everybody's door in this room, and it's going to knock on theirs too. And so I don't just want to teach them how to hit a softball or how to throw a curveball or how to field a ground ball. I'm also teaching them, how to handle life when they get devastating news, how to fight for their marriage, raise their kid the right way. Get out of debt and be free. There's a saying that says, all men die, but few men live. And it's the same thing with these young ladies. I'm trying to get them to live. while they're here, not when they turn 40 or 50 years old. And a lot of work goes into that. I mean, these coaches in today's time, if they really want to be a coach, they're wearing multiple hats. It's not just X's and O's and keeping a job. I mean, a lot of people can put a schedule together and get some wins and keep the contract going. I've just been, let's play anybody at any time, respect the game, let's develop talent. But I want also players that want to be there in our culture, because our culture is special. And again, y'all heard me say it the other night, I'll put our locker room against anybody in the country. We have people that will say they failed. We have people that will ask for help. That's one of the hardest four-letter words to say in today's time. And we have people to say, hey, I'm afraid, I'm scared right now. You know, what do I need to do? What's your advice? And my wife is phenomenal with that. And that's why we keep her around, and she keeps me in line, and she's one of the best assistants in the country. And so everybody asks, how do you do it? How do you do it? I mean, I live an hour from campus. She drives there, I drive home. We have a system, but we talk about life going and coming, and we're able to spend time together. My kids grew up in the dugout. I know you've seen them above the dugout. They're going viral on every social media thing, and they're fun to be around. But I raised them to lean into tough situations. So I'm not worried about those two because how I raised them, because I busted my butt. And I've also busted my butt with the 28 in that locker room. And the Lord has given me a plan. He's given me a platform. And just like, you know, who would have thought last night we'd have done what we've done? But He is faithful, and He showed up, and He's allowed us to play for another regional championship. And again, kudos to Nebraska. They have a phenomenal team, and they'll take it one game at a time. Rhonda does a great job. She said some very respectful things to me and Elena at the end of the game, and I'll keep that personal. But I'm just really, really pleased on where the game is today. I think the game's made some strides this year to get better, but we still have some work to do, and we'll continue to develop and work with our program also as we go forward.
Thank you, Coach. Once again, congratulations on an excellent season. And we'll have Nebraska coming up here in a second.